This is Krystof from Gravethorn, and you are listening to the Dan Shan Show.
I've got Krystof from Gravethorn with me. Man, it's been a year. We spoke, I checked today. We spoke on the 4th of October last year. So
Okay.
that's, I don't understand where this year's gone, to be honest with you. And I thought it was like springtime when we last spoke. But obviously, we spoke last year. You bought the album out, Underground album back in, was it June last year? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was June of 23 it got
That's
released.
right. Awesome album. And I picked you up on your Creeping Death cover, which came out in September. That's when I first knew of you. But you've had a busy year. We've been keeping in touch over the last year, and you've had some exciting news, haven't you, of late? Do you want to explain what's been happening?
Well, we've been pecking along with Underground Rituals. It's gotten a huge response.
Yeah.
And then in October of 23, I got COVID. So the best thing to do is to make use of the extra time that you have. So I ended up writing a new album and I shopped around Underground Rituals as a demo to some labels. And I was actually in touch with 4 or 5 labels, and we made the decision. We signed with Wormhole Death out of Italy. And the new one that I recorded will be released on December 21st of this year, which is the darkest day of the year, the winter solstice. So,
of course. Yeah.
And they've been great to work with. That's a Saturday release, and that's pretty uncommon. And they were very cool with that. So it'll be a rare Saturday release to get your hands on.
And a perfect Christmas gift as well.
Yes, it's fun for all ages.
I love that. So how did you? So you had a say like a handful of labels that you were in contact with. What made you choose a European label over say someone in the States or whatever? I mean, well, I know Wormhole Death or an amazing label, but you're such a long way in Vegas to Italy. Did you look closer to home, or was there a reason why you went with them?
We looked all over the place, to be honest with you, and we came very close to signing with one. And believe it or not, some guy who has I forgot what kind of a show he has. He told me about Wormhole Death and said you should reach out to them. They would really like to hear your product. And I could have sworn I sent them a copy of the music a year ago and never heard back. So I didn't think too much of it. But I said, there was something in my head that said, maybe I should reach out to them again. This guy seems pretty confident. And sure enough, Carlo, the owner, got me immediately. And he was very interested. And he was very upfront with everything and sent me terms. And everything just looked really good. And also, they're expanding at a very fast rate. I don't know if you were aware of that, but they do have offices all over the world, including
Japan, the States, right?
Yeah, and they just opened up in Norway too. So I mean, they're starting to really blow up. So not only is this a great time to get in on this label, but also, I've been following them, and it seems like they're very active on social media, and they're always releasing something new. And every band that's on this label, they seem like not only are they fully behind them, but they're amazing bands, and there's a very diverse spectrum that they represent. They don't just specialize in one form of metal or one form of this. It's pretty diverse. So it's really quite an honor to be under this umbrella, to be honest with you.
And I'm not surprised, because obviously they're a great label and they really are growing. They are definitely doing that, but they've got some great distribution like through Warner as well. So it's going to get you spread across the world, which is exactly what we want.
Right. I mean, as you know, I did Underground Rituals all by myself. I did have one company that was helping me out with promotion and things like that, and they were very good for a while. But it's a lot of work. It really is, and I have all the respect in the world for all these other bands that are doing it by themselves, or all these companies that are doing it for the bands. And now to have some assistance from somebody like Wormhole Death, I'm over the moon with it, to be honest.
Absolutely. So what are you hoping that they can bring to the table that you didn't have before?
I mean, my goal ever since the beginning was it wasn't I want to make that Metallica money and own the world or anything like that. Yeah. It was just always about get my music in the hands of anybody that wants to listen to it, because I know growing up on metal, sometimes you could be having the worst day of your life and metal's going to get you through it.
Yeah. Of course.
And I just hope to be there for the people that are having that worst day of their life. Like, hopefully this will help them see to the other side, and there's a lot going on in the world where a lot of people are getting pretty bummed out about a lot of different things. And that's a whole other topic altogether. But, sometimes you need that something to help you through. And I hope that's what this is for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now you sent me three tracks. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
through these tracks because it's Atrocitas, right? That's how you
Yeah.
say that. Okay, and then
Yeah.
we got the Gravethorn, barbaric war declared. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to these tracks since you sent me them, and one, I love them, right? I love the texture of the tracks, but
Excellent.
there's a similar ferocity for me. And one of my favorite black metal albums was Satyricon Rebel Extravaganza, and it's
Okay.
got that for me, and I loved it. I had smiling ear to ear when I heard these tracks because it was just had that ferocity with some lovely texture in it as well. Talk me through those tracks and talk me about the how the writing session has evolved since Underground Rituals, etc. You know, tell me about how things have changed, maybe or not.
Well, to be compared to Satyricon, that's a compliment right there.
There you
I
go.
appreciate that because they're no joke. They're an amazing act out of Scandinavia, and I
Sure.
I just that's fantastic to hear that. We get compared to many different bands, but only little hints. We never get specifically, oh, you guys sound just like these guys. So
And you know
that's
what? There's nothing wrong with being compared to someone. Be like, oh, Some people might say, oh, you're trying to copy them, but I don't see it like that at all. If you're doing something that's as good as them, for me, in my eyes, that's fucking great. You know what I mean?
doesn't bother me. Trust me.
Yeah, good, good. Sorry, I
My
interrupted you. Sorry.
writing process doesn't really change much. Like I said, I was home with COVID when I put that together, and maybe some of the medication I was on helped influence those decisions too.
Okay.
My process is I really just I sit in my studio and I just mess around on the guitar, and if there's something that comes out that I like, I record it, and then I might record a melody over it, and let the layers grow into themselves until I'm happy with it, and it just kind of snowballs from there until it becomes a complete song,
Yeah.
and then I have one I have one track. So I had one track off of Underground Rituals that I liked the mix best on. So
Yeah.
I use that as my template for everything else. And then when I was recording one of the songs, I ended up liking that track better as far as overall sound. So that became my new template. And I laid everything into the same parameters as far as volume panning and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a typical approach of, okay, today I'm going to write a song. It's never like that. It's just if an idea pops in my head, I do whatever I can to capture it, whether it's humming it into my phone and then saving it until I go home and try to play it or something like that. Some things are worth keeping and some things aren't, and hopefully everything on this new one is worth keeping in as far as the fans hear it.
For sure. So it's still you and Bob, right?
Yes, yes.
So is there any? I might have asked you this a year ago. God, I speak to so many people. Are you considering maybe bringing a band out of this, or your live guys? What's going to happen there? Is that crossed your mind?
We're definitely open to the idea of that. Unfortunately, in Vegas, it's a matter of finding people who are available for one,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
people who are reliable. And that's
Sure.
been my issue. We had Robert Emerson on the first one, and he was going to come on as a full time member. Fantastic guitar player, fantastic guy, but his job just wasn't. It was just getting in the way, and he bowed out. He said, look, I don't want to be in your way, basically, which
Mm,
is too bad because that guy deserves to be heard.
sure.
But we got a couple of guys that are interested. There's a band locally. I don't want to say too much, but from what I hear, they're kind of I don't want to say fizzling out, but they're kind of going on and doing their own thing. So there might be some availability coming up with a couple of those guys, and they're
And
very good.
how far would you cast the net for? Because I mean, the world's a smaller place now with the internet, and a lot of bands that I speak to have members in certain different continents or even different cities around Europe or other states. Would you bring in people from further afield, or was that something you want to keep kind of closer to home so you and Bob have got control?
If they could make it to rehearsals, I mean, I'm open to if they're from California or Arizona or anything like that.
Yeah.
That would be on them though, because we would rehearse here. So
Hmm.
if they can do it, great. But at the same time, that's a little bit of a drive for some people, and I understand not wanting to drive 2 or 3 hours or more
Of
to
course.
band.
Of
Some
course.
people some people are up for that, but also Bob and I are older. We're in our
Yeah.
40s and 50s here, and
Mhm.
some of the guys that have the energy to do that don't have anything else. They're in their early 20s. We might not exactly gel with them based on just personal opinions of things, and there's
Of
nothing
course.
wrong with that.
Of
People all
course.
over the place. I wouldn't want to waste anybody else's time either.
Of course.
But
Of course.
the
Now,
right person can are willing, sure.
the album comes out on December the 21st, which wasn't aware of actually. So that's the full album. How many
That's the
tracks?
full album.
How many tracks are on the album?
10. There's 10 tracks, including a revised version of the Creeping Death cover, which got you hooked on Gravethorn from the beginning.
Oh, awesome! Very cool. Very cool. So nice Christmas present, brand new album to get us over the Christmas family issues, whatever's going on in people's lives. So we've got that to look forward to. Now, what about shows? When are you taking this to the cities and the road? Is that the plan?
It's not a concrete plan. It's if the opportunity presents itself under the right circumstances, we'll absolutely take it on.
Right.
We have to get the right band together first.
Of course.
So we'll be able to make those decisions on when that would happen until the right situation fell into place and we had a solid band. I'm the kind of guy, I don't want to play a show A unless it's worth it, and B, everybody in the band has to be able to know these songs backwards in their sleep. I've been in bands in the past where they perform great at rehearsal, and then some people in the band don't always show up for shows or for rehearsals.
Right. Really?
Time to play, it's not as tight as it should have been, and I don't want to do. And I also don't want to do I've done it for years where you play a show, there's 12 people in the audience and 10 of them are other band members, or get a promoter that wants to get a punk band with a new metal band with this band, all these different genres, because they know each one of them can bring in a certain amount, but all those other people are in the parking lot drinking and stuff during your set. It's not
it's nothing worse. No, that's the worst thing, man.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst things.
The right situation. That's what people with.
The plan is to play some shows, right? You're gonna do that next year.
I would love to play some shows. I mean, obviously the big festivals in Europe are the biggest ones that I want to play. But who doesn't?
Do you think Wormhole Death can help you with that?
It's possible. It's just we'll see what they have for connections as far as that stuff goes. And I think if I contact them when we're ready for that and say, hey, okay, do a couple of small gigs first just to work out the rust.
Of course. So what's the I'm sure I asked you this last year, but what's the black metal scene like on the West Coast?
Can
I class Vegas as West Coast? I know it's West. It's not the Midwest.
Vegas is considered West Coast. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
We're not on the shore.
I didn't drop myself in it then. That's all right. Good.
No, you're good. When the local shows are going on, it's actually gotten a little bigger than it was a couple of years ago. But usually the best ones are when a national headliner comes through, because we're going to draw the proximity of Vegas. You're going to draw people from Phoenix. You're going to draw people from LA, and there's a big scene over in Bakersfield, in that part of the desert part of California.
Yeah,
we got there's a band called Nature of the Beast. They're kind of like death metal, black metal, a little bit of a hybrid, but they're also on Wormhole Death Records. And my previous played with them years ago, and they're a fantastic band. So there is a scene, and from what I understand, it is growing. But as we know, these things have their ebbs and flows. Sometimes there's shows that are packed, and sometimes there's shows that aren't. So,
what would you say was because I have no idea to answer this question. Where's the heart of black metal in the States? Is there a heart?
That's a good question. I don't know if there is a heart.
It's not like death metal with Florida or anything like that. You've got.
Yeah, I would say, if I had to take a guess, I would say the Pacific Northwest is probably where it's at. You got bands like Uada comes out of there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're pretty awesome.
When
I was
in Europe,
younger, I was actually one of the co-founders of one of New England's first black metal bands when I lived on the East Coast. So back in the early '90s, I had a band called Eternity Denied, and we didn't even know it was black metal, because we were just playing. We had friends that were in death metal bands. We were like, oh, let's change it up a little bit. Let's do high screeching vocals instead of trying to be deeper than everybody else. Let's throw a keyboard in here. And then, the Kerrang article came out, a couple years later with everything about the black metal scene.
That was it. That's what hooked me.
And I couldn't wait to hear some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And back then there was no internet. It was just whoever had a copy of a tape. That's
exactly right.
And then when we
exactly.
heard it, we were like, this is kind of like what we're already playing. I guess we're technically black metal.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so
Absolutely.
there was a good scene there at the time. There was a band called December Wolves, and Vital Remains came out of there,
Yeah.
which was on the cusp of black metal and death metal, and things were coming along good up there. But I wouldn't say there's necessarily a core in the States, because there's little bits of it sprinkled everywhere.
Yeah. So the goal is for next year is to get you over to Europe, play some shows over here.
Yeah, I would love to go out to Europe and play some
That'd be
shows
fucking
over there.
awesome. That'd be awesome.
Join you and drink your English smuggled tea that you brought in.
Yeah. I'm drinking Spanish wine right now, so it's all
Oh,
right.
okay. Kudos to you. Still early for me, so I'm on my coffee.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. It's 20 past 9 here. Yeah, so you're the first American I've spoken to since your elections. How was that?
I didn't vote this year. There's neither one of the candidates, excuse me, were,
Fair enough.
they don't represent what I would like.
Fair enough.
They both have their good points, but will they stick to them, or will they just, continue to cater to their base and their people?
Yeah,
I don't know, but I just, try to stay out of it. I mean, we're in a situation right now that, our country is so divided. It's everybody's either one way or the other, and it's almost
sure.
like, the problem I see is it's almost competitive to see who can be the most right or who can be the
Of
most left,
course. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's not helping anything, because
No,
then we're
very
going
true. That's
and
very poignant. It's very poignant you saying that, because that's how, yeah, it's exactly right. I never thought of it like that, but that's right. It's like you're this far this or you're this far that, and there's no like centralist.
and they all claim they're in the middle, that lean one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Wow.
it's I don't honestly, I don't see a way out of it. I think we've gone too far, and the next 20 years or so are going to be very interesting, to say the least.
It's good for artists to be creative, and it's good for satire. That's how I see it.
Yeah, if we're not being creative, we're going to be rebellious. So
Well, that's it. It all comes. It's all the
I hope,
same pot.
with the whole Gravethorn attitude, and the main concept of our lyrical content is against oppressors. And there's always going to be somebody that feels like they're oppressed in one way or another, whether it's, religions, sexual preference, whatever it is. There's always going to feel like there's people overseeing what they should do. And
Yeah,
I'm hoping that Gravethorn is kind of the soundtrack to fuel them to rise up.
good. I like that.
Whatever.
I like
Yeah.
that a lot. So obviously, if those people don't understand, where you come from, Krystof, you are an awesome tattooist in Las Vegas as well.
Thank you very much, sir.
I've not seen you perform in that way, but I've seen the images online and they're fucking great.
Thank you.
So if anyone's in Vegas, where can they find you for designs and tattoos? Because they should come and visit you.
I work at Revolt Tattoos, and that's right on the strip. It's inside Fashion Show Mall.
Oh,
And
okay.
if they want something, if they want to pop in and get something quick, that's fine, as long as there's availability. I prefer to work by appointment, especially on larger pieces, so that way I can get it together the night before, get really excited to do the piece, and that way I'm just not like, oh, here we are, okay, sure, I'll do this, but regret not being able to think about, oh, I wish I thought about doing this into it as well. The
Yeah,
best way, any big piece, it's always a good idea to make an appointment in advance. But yep, Revolt Tattoo in Las Vegas, that's where I'm at.
awesome. Where are you online for people to tap you up on Insta and everything? Tell us about your Gravethorn and your personal handles, so be it.
Okay, so Gravethorn, I'm in the process of working on a website right now, so that should be coming in the next couple of weeks. Facebook, we're on Facebook. If you just do the search for Gravethorn, I forgot what it is on Facebook. It's probably like Gravethorn with a dozen numbers and letters after it.
Yeah.
Instagram is at Gravethorn Official, and YouTube. If you just look up Gravethorn, we don't have a huge YouTube presence. Hopefully that'll be changing soon. And
Cool.
Spotify, Pandora, all the major platforms are streaming on. As far as my tattoos on Instagram, check out my work. It's at tattoos /by /Krystof, Krystof, and you'll be able to see the work that I've done and maybe catch a glimpse at one of the cars I'm currently working on right now as well.
Of course, that's the other thing, isn't it? So, talk to me about your car situation. Because
I
that's
recently
realized I've seen some awesome like muscle cars or these like absolute like fantasy cars I would have had in Matchbox or Hot Wheels when I was a kid.
Sure.
You work on these. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I just picked up a couple of months ago. I just picked up a 1971 Oldsmobile Cutlass. That's my new love affair right now. So
Wow,
we'll be updating the world with pics of that as they happen. So
that's so
it's
cool.
pretty. It's fun though. It's already got the flames painted on it. So
Oh, oh
yeah,
man.
I
So
just can't
what?
get.
So I'm gonna meet you. We're gonna meet up in LA in January. So will you be driving be sober, or do you drive your standard like like Ford over? How does that work?
Yeah, my civilian vehicle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that what you do?
Yeah, no, I'll probably a lot of times see. I drive a truck, just a pickup truck that's pretty horrible on gas. So
Oh
trips
yeah,
like that, I tend to just rent a car because the money I save on
sure.
gas will offset the car rental price
Fully
anyway.
understand. Fully
Yeah.
understand that. So last of all, I was in the UK this morning and I flew home this afternoon. And when I was in the car on the way to the airport, they said that on the radio they were saying, "Hey everyone, it's so exciting! We can now play Christmas music on the radio as of the Monday, the 25th of November. So it's coming, right? What's your Christmas like? Do you do much, or should we say holiday season? What do you do?
Well, as far as work goes, I mean, almost the day after Halloween, the mall was already set up for Christmas.
Sure,
So
of course.
we've
But
been in Christmas
personally, but
there.
personally, what do you do? How do you set up? Because obviously Thanksgiving is this week, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah. It's Thanksgiving is
so you got
Thursday.
so tell me what you do on Thanksgiving and how does it differ from Christmas?
Thanksgiving, it's not going to differ much. I mean, it's a day off from work, obviously. And over here, we cook a big turkey and vegetables, and we have family over. And of course, we're going to be watching football. That's almost like a
Bears
standard.
Lions, mate. Bears
Yeah.
Lions.
Yes.
What do you do at Christmas? What is it?
It's just I have a small family out here, so we're just going to have the family over. We do presents. We kind of lean more towards the Yule part of things, but
Of
I do
course.
like the Christmas tree aspect of it, which was a Yule thing to begin with anyway. But
Yeah, I'm
you
a
know,
very much a holiday kind of Yule guy myself.
yeah,
I'm not a
and
Christmas guy, you know.
I like the winter forest type of feeling. I mean, people
Nice.
people laugh when they say black metal from the desert. How is that even possible? Well, I have roots to the Northeast. It gets pretty
Yeah.
cold. It's a big
Yeah, the
forest
deer and dax and all that.
climate to all the other, black metal legendary homes.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, so do you know Black Braid, right?
oh, I love Black Braid.
Black Braid are great, and he's from the heart of the Adirondacks. He's like
Yeah.
he lives and breathes.
Yes.
What's his I always forget his name. Well, I interviewed him a while
Yeah.
ago. Sasha Goa, I think it is, and he lives right in the heart of it all. I mean, he's like living and breathing black metal.
You
I mean,
know, it's
yeah. Well, I think we've just decided now that the heart of black metal is the Adirondacks in the
I
States.
think so, especially the native black metal here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but Black Braid, I mean, they get a lot of flack online for some reason. I don't get it, but I think there's just a lot of people, a lot of trolls that give them a hard time. But
Of
the
course.
first time I heard Black Braid, I actually had this kind of spiritual moment because it was one of the songs that where it's just the acoustic and there's the flutes going, and it was
Mm,
I wasn't specifically listening to them. I had my Pandora on a shuffle, and it came
right.
on,
Mm,
and I was just like, wow, this is pretty incredible what I'm listening to. It almost reminds me of like the Adirondack Mountains and things
yeah.
like that. And I had no idea that this was a Native American black metal
Yeah.
band from Adirondack
Amazing.
Mountain.
Yeah.
His music literally spoke to me very, very forcefully. And I wish him the best of luck because he deserves all the acclaim that he's getting. And he's
Absolutely.
everything. He's not signed. He doesn't want to be signed. He's running everything himself. And I can't even imagine where he's finding the extra 8 hours in a day to do this.
I
But
know. I know.
good for him. He's
Good for
killing
him
it.
indeed. And good for him
Yeah.
indeed. Well, mate, so the album's out on December the 21st. We're looking forward to that. I tell you that. And I'm
Yes,
going to
sir.
play as many tracks as possible from that album when I can, when I'm allowed to. What can I play next?
You know what? I sent you the three songs. Atrocitus is the title track of the album as well. So if you want to play that, Barbaric War Declared, I did the lyric video on YouTube already for that. And then what was the other one I sent you? I'm sorry.
The
It was
Great Thor.
I'm sorry.
The
Oh, The
Great
Great
Thor.
Thought. Yep. That's the second song on the album. I like how that one came out. Also
Great.
worth noting, there's a couple of songs on the CD when it does come out. It's got a returning guest from the last CD.
Cool.
Joshua Bednarski's back on this one, and also my good friend. I've been in bands with him when I lived in the Northeast, and incredible guitar player, Dave Sharp. He's in that band Dead by Wednesday that I told you about. That'll be playing at him. He's also played with Dave Ellefson from Megadeth. He's also currently touring with the Cro-Mags as their guitar player. He was that guy when he was 17 years old. He was miles ahead of all the guitar players. It was just like, who the hell is this guy? Yeah, this is just one where Dave Ellefson was playing gigs, playing Megadeth gigs or Megadeth songs at these gigs.
Right.
And my friend Dave Sharp was telling me how difficult it was because he had to learn all the solos, and they're different styles. He's learning Chris Poland stuff. He's learning Marty Friedman stuff.
Yeah, it's tough.
Holy cow. But
yeah, it's tough.
That's the caliber of this guy. I mean, this guy's no joke. So it was an honor to have him and Josh on the album again. Josh is a great guy, and I've told Josh he's the other member of Gravethorn. It's just that there's 3,000 miles between us. So, he got a job out here. He's got the gig,
Yeah, awesome. Well, listen, Krystof, great to speak to you again. Obviously, we're going to be meeting in Jan, and the new Gravethorn album, Atrocitas. I can't get my head around that word as it's written.
I made it up. That's why.
Oh, God, that's cool. That's it then. And it's out. It's a perfect Christmas gift for your loved ones on the 21st of December. So thanks for that, mate. We appreciate it.
I regret not putting a parental advisory sticker on it to, maybe get a few more sales on it.
Well, listen, man, good luck with that. We're gonna be playing lots of tracks from the album.
Thank you very much, Dan. Keep up the great work on everything you do. It's an awesome format you got.